Russia is facing a demographic crisis that threatens its very future, and the Kremlin is resorting to controversial measures to combat it. Imagine a country where the population is shrinking, aging, and the government is desperately trying to reverse the trend by promoting traditional family values and restricting personal freedoms. But here's where it gets complicated. President Vladimir Putin has been grappling with this issue for over 2 decades, yet the problem persists, and some argue his solutions may be doing more harm than good. Since ascending to power in 2000, Putin has witnessed Russia's population decline from 147.6 million in 1990 to 146.1 million today, according to the Federal Statistics Service. This decline is not just about numbers, it's about a nation's vitality and security. In 2005, Putin acknowledged the need for social and economic stability to address the demographic crisis, but by 2019, he admitted the problem still haunted Russia. As recently as a Kremlin demographic conference, he emphasized that increasing births was crucial for the nation's survival. To encourage population growth, Putin has launched various initiatives, from providing free school meals for large families to awarding Hero Mother medals to women with 10 or more children. In 2023, he nostalgically recalled, "Many of our grandmothers and great-grandmothers had 7, 8, or even more children. Let's preserve and revive these wonderful traditions." Initially, these efforts seemed to pay off, with births rising from 1.21 million in 1999 to 1.94 million in 2015. However, this progress has been eroded by financial instability, the war in Ukraine, an exodus of young men, and resistance to immigration. And this is the part most people miss: Russia's demographic challenges are deeply rooted in its history. The loss of approximately 27 million Soviet citizens during World War II significantly reduced the male population. Just as the country began to recover, the collapse of the Soviet Union triggered another decline in births. Today, the number of Russian women in their 20s and early 30s is relatively small, leaving authorities scrambling to maximize births from this limited group. The war in Ukraine has exacerbated the situation. While Russia has not disclosed its military casualties, Western estimates suggest hundreds of thousands of deaths. The conflict has also driven many young Russians abroad, either to escape political repression or avoid conscription. As Jenny Mathers of the University of Aberystwyth notes, "You've got a much diminished pool of potential fathers and a diminished pool of potential mothers, which is particularly problematic for Putin, who links population growth to national security." In response, Russia has adopted restrictive laws promoting traditional family values, including bans on abortion promotion, child-free ideology, and LGBTQ+ activism. These measures, however, have sparked controversy. Russian feminist scholar Sasha Talaver criticizes the government's expectation that women, despite being financially independent, should prioritize reproduction for the sake of patriotism. Such policies, she argues, are less about solving demographic issues and more about imposing ideological control. But here's where it gets controversial. While some family-friendly initiatives, like cash certificates for parents, are popular, others are divisive. For instance, one-time payments of about $1,200 for pregnant teenagers in certain regions are intended to support vulnerable mothers but are criticized for potentially encouraging teenage pregnancies. Additionally, symbolic gestures like state holidays celebrating family and pregnancy seem to prioritize optics over substantive change. Russia's fertility rate stands at 1.4 children per woman, well below the 2.1 replacement rate needed for population stability. This is slightly lower than the US rate of 1.6. To boost births, some regions have made it illegal to encourage abortions, and national legislation in 2024 banned child-free propaganda. These vague laws have already led to changes, such as the renaming of a reality TV show from 16 and Pregnant to Mommy at 16. For many women, these measures complicate already sensitive decisions. A 29-year-old woman who chose not to have children told the Associated Press she avoids state-run clinics to escape intrusive questions about her reproductive plans. Meanwhile, access to abortion, though still legal, is increasingly restricted. Private clinics are less likely to offer the procedure, and new laws limit the sale of abortion-inducing pills, affecting emergency contraceptives as well. Women are encouraged to visit state clinics, where longer waits and mandatory counseling periods can push patients beyond the legal abortion timeframe. While abortions have decreased, there hasn't been a corresponding increase in births. Activists like Zelina Marchenkulova argue that restricting abortion will only lead to more illegal and dangerous procedures, endangering both women and children. She views these measures as repressive, designed to stifle freedom rather than address demographic concerns. Here's a thought-provoking question: could Russia solve its demographic crisis by embracing immigration? Despite being a logical solution, the Kremlin has instead fueled anti-migrant sentiment, tracking and restricting immigrants' movements and employment. This approach has driven Central Asian workers, traditionally a significant labor source, to seek opportunities elsewhere, further complicating Russia's demographic challenges. As the war in Ukraine drags on, financial incentives for parenthood pale in comparison to the stability families need to plan for the future. As Mathers observes, an open-ended major war doesn't really encourage people to think positively about the future. The 29-year-old woman who chose childlessness echoes this sentiment, stating, "The happiest and healthiest child will only be born in a family with healthy, happy parents." What do you think? Are Russia's restrictive laws and promotion of traditional family values the right approach to its demographic crisis, or are they counterproductive? Could embracing immigration and addressing economic instability be more effective solutions? Share your thoughts in the comments below.